What is going on, everybody? Well, I say everybody. It looks like it's just me and you, Siraj, right now. Literally. One person watching. This is probably the slowest start to a stream I've ever had. Is there a game on? Have I just picked the worst time ever? Is something really major going on? I mean, Ultimate Team's out. Team of the Year Ultimate Team. I have no idea why you're first, Siraj. No idea. Usually, 2 or 3 people have already put a message in by now. In fact, 2 minutes 40 odd in, there's usually a bunch of people speaking. But just me and you. Just me and you chilling, chatting. There's another person watching, but I don't know who it is. Is this just not being shared on YouTube or something? I've tweeted it out. Set everything up. This is very, very strange. Ah, great. No notifications today, huh? Well, we're slowly getting there. This is potentially the slowest start to a stream ever. I mean, my screen's saying 5. So, yeah. Interesting. I might tweet it out again. Bit spammy, but you know. Is it not on YouTube at all? Let me check my phone on my other account. Well done, YouTube. You're messing up my live stream. See, I've got it in my notifications, but I didn't get an alert either on my phone. Well, Siraj, you've got my full attention if you want to ask a question. This is really random. I mean, 5 people. If it's not been shared out or no notifications, 5 people is still pretty decent. I actually don't think there's anything I can do either. There's no button I can press to share it on YouTube. Okay, so rank 350k. Should I use wildcard? You know, 350k is not that bad in the grand scheme of things. Out of 5.6 million players, you're still easily in the top 10%. Easily. I mean, I guess it's a bit of role reversal now, because I've carried on going up and you've dropped a bit. I mean, it depends what your team is. But I don't know the easiest way to actually have a look at your team. If you've got your computer up, if you... can you paste the link? If you can paste the link in the chat, I could always have a look at it that way. Because we might as well do something while we wait. There we go. I've tweeted directly at YouTube to complain. Wait, a man Dylan. Thank you for joining the stream. 7 people watching, 2 people talking. Great stream so far. But thank you so much, man Dylan, for joining. Hopefully you're subscribed. If you're not, feel free to click it subscribe. We have the sponsor in the chat as well. Blessing Arolo. Mr. Sponsor. Blessing the sponsor Arolo. It's like a UFC fighter. Welcome to the chat, my friend. It's a bit of a slow start today. 7 minutes in, we've got 8 people watching because YouTube doesn't seem to be sending out notifications. We've got Bram Ono Nilsson also joining, so we're finally starting to pick up. There was that awkward 5 minutes where it was just me and Siraj. I was like, I might as well talk about your team because no one's here. So we will probably be looking at Siraj's team. Siraj, if you can't paste the link in the chat, then feel free to tweet it at me while we wait for this stream to pick up a little bit more. But yeah, I can't really tell you if you should use your wildcard or not without seeing your team. Good man, a man. Good man, a man. Siraj, you're the doctor. Why would I laugh at you? There's no way that's happening. The awkward thing as well is because there's not as many people in the chat as usual, I've not really focused on anything yet. And I've drunk my beer quite quickly. I can feel it's light already. So you're tweeting now. Let's have a look-see. In fact, I'm not bothered about showing Twitter, so we'll bring it up here. Make sure I don't show you anything that should be behind the scenes, like the DMs. Matthew Berry, welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining. And Real DMC, how you doing? A bit of a slow start today. For some strange reason, YouTube hasn't shared my stream. But well done on 87 points, Matthew Berry. That's really good. 77 and Green Arrow also won my cup match. Real DMC, me and you still in the cup. Still rocking and rolling. By the way, guys, there are polls for you to vote in. Some chosen by people on Twitter. So go and vote in the polls so we can see the results later on in the stream. JP43 is in the chat. I've just brought in Albrighton and Firmino from Morata and Loftus-Cheek. Was this a good move? Albrighton's a slow burner, to be fair. He scores, but the points come slowly. Firmino has looked really good for me recently. Almost to the point where I'm thinking, do I need Aguero? Because all of my transfers are trying to raise my funds to get Aguero in. And now the chat's popping. So while that gets going, I'm actually going to look at Siraj's team. Because he asked me to. And he was the only one here for about 5 minutes. So, alright, so your team, you've got Pope and Elliott. Elliott's been an issue for a lot of FPL managers recently. Otamendi is good, Jones is good. I've got both of them. I would stick with those two. Masuaka, I think he can slowly be filtered out. Me is decent. Kenny, our defence is pretty... In fact, I think our defence is the same. I think our defence is exactly the same. So I'm not getting points on you in that area. As far as Lingard and Sterling, neither scoring would have really hurt your game week, unfortunately. Richarlison, I think it may be time to ship him out for someone else. Then we got Arnautovic, who would have been one of your best point scorers, with Salah, Firmino and Kane. So you know what? You had some of the big point scorers. Arnautovic and Kane were some of the big point scorers this game week. What would I change? I think Richarlison's had his time. I think Watford aren't as good a team to be investing in as they were. Sterling, I think it was just a one-off, a bad game week. Lingard, the fixtures do get worse for them. I mean, you've got Spurs, then it's too easy, then it's Chelsea. So it's not like they've got an easy run of fixtures, but I think just because he didn't score in one game week while a lot of other players around him did, doesn't mean you suddenly drop him. I actually think your team isn't that bad, and it's very similar to mine, which is strange, because why have you dropped? Because if we look at my team, look at that. That is, apart from Abraham, I think we have the same team. And I got 75 points, and you got... No. Wait, am I looking at my own team? I am. Well, that's fantastic. I've just rated your team that whole time. That's embarrassing. Why did that not work? I blame you, Siraj, because the link you sent me to my own team. And I think I know why now. You went into your team and just copied that link. Whoops. Didn't mean to show any of that. Yeah. Unfortunately, Siraj, that's not your team link. To get your team link, go into View Game Week History. And then just copy this. Get rid of History. And then that is your team link. Like that. If it works. Which it's not. This stream's going fantastically. This stream, nothing is going wrong with this stream at all. Really? That should work. I don't know why it's not. That one would work. There you go. Click on Gameweek23 and then post your team. Then I'll see your team the way it is. So, yeah. We've got 21 people watching now, finally. Thank you, YouTube, for such a slow start to the stream. 12 minutes in, we finally got a decent crowd. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll actually do the intro stuff now, because I've not done the intro. Today we are drinking beer, of course. This time it's from Sainsbury's, because we were in Sainsbury's. It's 4.8. It was the strongest one they had that was cheap, because I'm being cheap. Also, if you guys want to support the stream in any way, you can join Blessing of Rolo as a sponsor of the channel. There should be a sponsor button somewhere underneath the screen. Feel free to go and click that, and you can become a patron as well, as a bunch of the guys from the chat are, and that is all of that stuff done. So let's actually get into the chat. Okay, so Tiger Rage, bringing Wilson for Lewin tonight to make sure no price rises. If you really want Wilson and you're worried about price rises, then yeah, that's a good move, Tiger. I believe Wilson is due a price rise, 100.6%. So he's over the target for a price rise. And as far as drops go, we are looking at Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin with the drops in price. So if you've got them and you're thinking of transferring out and you don't want to be affected by the changes in price, tonight would be your night. Thank you, Jeff, for being involved in the chat. Lurking. Maybe you were lurking, just watching me kind of faff about for 10 minutes. Jay Jahal, check out my Gameweek24 team on your channel. I'm not going to check your video out right now, but if I can find your YouTube channel, I will quickly, Jay Jahal, give you a bit of a plug. A bit of a cheap key plug. Jay, was it Jahal? I think it's this one. And then if we go channels, don't know which one you are, unfortunately. Is it this one? Let me know which one of those it was, and I can have a quick cheeky plug of your channel, see if we can get you some subs. Bramo Nilsson, yep, definitely. I get a lot more focus when there's questions to answer. I was just seeing the reaction to me rating my own team. 86 points for Ahmed Hassan, well done. Can you compare between Firmino and Aguero? Is Aguero worth the extra millions? I can definitely do that. So we've got Aguero, and then compare to Firmino. I'll be honest with you, I don't think he is off the top of my head. Which is why, despite the fact I'm trying to make the funds for that move, right now Firmino does look the better option. With less game time, let's just point that out. He's scored 5 goals to 3, got 3 goals to 2 assists. Goal involvement is better, 44% to 42. Bonus point baseline is better. He's more likely to get bonus points. Minutes per attempt, he's worse. However, shot accuracy, he's at 53.3% to 34.8. So he's also better in goal conversion. Minutes per chance created, he's much more creative. Minutes per goal, 86.4 compared to 157.3. So right now, Firmino's underlying stats are better than Aguero's. But the problem is, Aguero being almost nailed on now, it's a bit scary to not have Aguero. But then again, a lot of people took advantage of not having Kane for that period where he wasn't scoring. Real DMC's made his transfer. He's gone from Grosh to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oxlade-Chamberlain could be a great shout. Cheap way into a Liverpool midfield. I just worry that Liverpool will buy someone in, and then Chamberlain could be rotated a bit. So I'm waiting to see on that, but it could be a good bandwagon to jump in on early. Would you give up drinking to win the cup? Don't think I could. The FPL Cup, do I have to give up drinking until I win it? Or do I have to give up drinking forever? Because if it's forever, that's very unlikely. So I wouldn't want to make that promise and then break it after winning the cup. Who to transfer? Pogba or Mahrez for Arnautovic? I mean, I've read an article recently, Alan Arjadinovic, that whilst Pogba's getting assists, the amount of big chances he's actually created are very small. So is it the players around him making the most of not great chances? And Mahrez, I've always said I don't particularly like his underlying stats, but he has been scoring points. I personally think if Lingard continues to be an option, you don't need Pogba. And this is from someone that has been saying Pogba's the best person to have for a while. I'm now thinking if Lingard does return to form soon, Lingard's a better option, so you don't need Pogba. But we'll see about that. I may have missed the bandwagon. As was said on the Fantasy Football Surgery podcast, the trapdoor may have opened under Lingard, so I may have got him in too late. Yes, Siraj, I've noticed. A bit late, but I did notice. Alright, Craig Manuel, how are you doing? Should I keep Loftus-Cheek? If not, who is a good max 4.7 to 4.8 replacement? Well, you all know that I like to suggest Andrew Sermon, but I think the fact that he is still near the top is a lot to do with the fact that there is no great option at that price. Because he should have dropped by now. Davis has joined him at 66 points. Atsu has recently been getting some points. This guy's on penalties. I can't say his name. Cork is getting up there. There's no one there, though, that I look at and go, yes. Apart from Ibe, Bournemouth have the fixtures. Apart from that Chelsea game, that fixture run isn't too bad. And they do look more attacking. I think 26 to 28 looks like a particularly good period for them. Stoke, Huddersfield and Newcastle. And Ibe, at the moment, is one of the strikers with a lot of chances. If memory serves me correctly, he's not far behind some of the premium price players. If I can just find the stat. You watch, I won't be able to find it now. Okay, 22 shots on goal in the last 6 game weeks by Jordan Ibe is second only to Mohamed Salah. So if Ibe continues to play and continues to get that many chances, there's a chance he could be an explosive, cheap option for you. I am tempted to maybe make that jump early. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be anyone that really stands out to me as a good shout. No, there's no one there that I'd really... Ibe would be my suggestion right now. And that's not a guarantee, that's a bit of a punt. Tiger Rage, yes, I'd say bring in Wilson for Lewin. Might as well, if that's the move you're thinking of making anyway, you might as well make sure you don't lose some cash. Jeff Holt, would you rather have Pope, Masaka, Richarlison, Firmino and Abraham, or Adrian, Alonso, Hazard, Wilson and Quainer? Because I want Firmino, I'd go Firmino. Because to me, Alonso's the only one out of that lot that I really want. I mean, I'm thinking of bringing in Quainer, but he's got an injury at the moment. He's 50% possible of playing in the next game. I would like Alonso in my team, don't get me wrong. But I want Firmino in my team. I want 2 Liverpool players. So that's a tough question. I'd like to maybe move them around and go Pope, Quainer. I don't want Abraham. So Quainer would be instead of Abraham. Then I could potentially get Alonso in still. Siraj, yeah, I messed up. It's not been the best start to a stream ever. It's been a while since I messed up this much in a stream, so, you know, back to the good old days. Real DMC says his cup opponent looks good this week. Hopefully we can carry on in the cup, though. Craig Manuel, 54 points. Sorry to hear that, mate. Thomas McCarthy, 81 points. Disappointing again. 81 points was disappointing. You got more than me, and I went up in the league. I got 75 points, and apart from the Surgery Podcast League and Kirchhoff's League, I actually improved my ranking. By the way, I am into round 20, group Gameweek24 of the Cup, and I'm playing this guy. And he got 68 points last game week. De Gea, which is worrying. Azpilicueta, so those are difference makers there. He has got Otamendi, but he benched him, which was a clever move on his part. Salah, Sterling, he's got De Bruyne, which is worrying. Kane, Firmino, we have very similar teams, in fact. Different striker next to Kane and Firmino. We have a different midfield group. I've got Sterling, I've got Richarlison still, and Arnautovic. I'm slightly worried about that team. So I may have to take that into account when I make my transfers. So yeah, that's probably the first time I looked at a team and wondered if I'm going to beat it. Yeah, Craig, my team the whole time. All aboard the McBurney wagon, good underlying stats. Let's have a quick look at his underlying stats, because I've not actually looked at McBurney yet. Because to me, it's still a bit too much a flash in the pan. Okay, 4.5, so ideally I'd prefer someone slightly cheaper for the reputation he has anyway. I mean, his underlying stats aren't good enough to make me want to jump on board that, purely because those underlying stats come from 2 starts. And I prefer my underlying stats to come from a bit more game time. Jeff Holt, we are islands in the stream. Is Andre Gray a good option? Bram, I would say Watford. I wouldn't really look at moving into Watford players. Watford's fixtures aren't awful, but they're not great. They've got Leicester, Stoke, West Ham, Everton and Chelsea being their toughest one. There's nothing about that Watford side that make me want to really invest in their team. No worries, Siraj. I would, now the stream's picked up a bit, I will have a look at your team later. I've just dropped to the bottom of the chat, if you're wondering why I've stopped talking. I'm drinking Coke Zero. Behaving tonight, Craig. Blessing Rolo got on Lanzini and got out of Grosh. That's a good move, to be honest. Lanzini and Arnautovic both look decent. Thomas McCarthy, your rank's improved though, hasn't it? So keep improving it. Jamal Rice is in the chat. Nice to see you, Jamal. The Chrissy95 also in the chat. Opinion on Bauer. Is it bad that I don't know who that is? Probably. Let's see if I can find him quickly. Again, way too early for me to be chipping in about him. I know very little about him off of those stats at all. So much so that I still don't even know what team he plays for. You can clearly see that work has been getting in the way of me doing my research. JP43 and Thomas McCarthy, notice this. This can still happen. 3.2 million to 1 million in the last 8 game weeks. That's a great jump up, JP43. Jeff Holt wants Hazard versus KDB. Underlying stats. Being demanding as always. I'm joking, mate. Alright, let's have a look. So we've got Hazard and we've got De Bruyne, who's not coming up. There we go. Alright, so if we compare them, we have De Bruyne is clearly winning, like by 70% to 30%. Price-wise, he's cheaper. Goals, they have the same amount. Assists, Kevin De Bruyne has 9 assists to... Sorry, 12 assists to Hazard's 4. These are FPL assists. Sometimes an assist in game isn't as... sometimes an assist in FPL is an assist in real life. I'm looking at his stats overall, actually. My bad. This isn't the last 6 game weeks, which I prefer to look at. So let's start that again, Jeff. Again, still winning. Goals 1-1, assists 3-1 in Kevin De Bruyne's favour. We've got minutes pass received. Kevin De Bruyne seeing more of the ball. Goal involvement, Hazard wins. Bonus points, Kevin De Bruyne wins easily. As far as goal threat goes, Hazard still wins. But minutes per attempt is not much higher. 25.1 to 26.9. Shot accuracy, 33.3 to De Bruyne's 26.3. Goal conversions, only 6.7 to Kevin De Bruyne's 5.3. But then in the assists, Kevin De Bruyne wins quite comfortably. Although chances created, it's 28 to 31. Just the teammates around Hazard aren't putting away the chances he's creating. And Hazard hasn't created a big chance in the last 6, whereas De Bruyne has created 3 big chances. So at the moment, to me, De Bruyne looks the better option. A lot to do with the fact that he's cheaper. Craig Manuel's made 2 subs already for a -4. Got Alonso and Wilson. Like those transfers to Kenny and Calvert-Lewin. I want to get Arnautovic for Richarlison, but don't know if I should take a -8 or wait till next game week. I mean, I would probably wait, purely because I don't like taking more than a -4. But if you think your team's going to struggle to get points, then you could maybe make that move. What are Sanchez's stats like if he moves to United? I think I want him. Real DMC, Sanchez's stats. We'll have a quick look-see. And while we've got this screen up, we'll compare him to who I think is probably the best option in the same price range, Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, it's close. And I think potentially Sanchez at Man United could have a better output. Goals, Sanchez is winning 3-1. Assists, it's 3-1 the other way. Goal involvement, Sanchez is winning. Minutes per goal, Sanchez is winning. Shot accuracy, he's actually not winning. But shots on target, the same as well. So that's surprising. He's not as that much better than I thought he would be than Kevin De Bruyne. So I still prefer Kevin De Bruyne looking at these stats. Mane is a differential. Seeing the game, he was playing ahead of Salah. If not mistake by Edison, Salah was without a goal. True, Siraj. It all depends. If you really need to start jumping up that ranking, I would change over to Mane. The problem is, if this doesn't work out for you, you're just going to keep dropping. I think having Salah is a good safety net. Purely because if Salah does well, I think his ownership is still quite high. If we go to Liverpool. So if we look at his ownership, still over 50%. So I personally wouldn't risk it. Mane could be a great differential, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he won't be. But I'm just saying it's really risky making that move. Liam Shaw, I could probably just about give up drinking until the end of 2018. If it would be a guaranteed cup win. Just because I think, one, that would be great for my reputation as an FPL player. 2, it would give me a great vlog to do. And 3, you know what? Give me a year. I think there's a lot I could achieve in a year. And one of them would be not to drink, I think. The Chrissy95, if you've got Twitter, maybe send me your team link on Twitter. I'm not going to... The reason I was going to do it for Siraj at the beginning was because he was the only one in the chat. But when the stream is going and the chat is going, I'm not really going to just look at people's teams like on screen. Just takes a little bit too long. What I might do is what I could do in the future is get people to send their team to me, and then I'll pick like a couple of them to look at, and then I'd have to like remove you from the next week so I don't just keep looking at the same people's teams. I could potentially do that as something in the future. Siraj says, get Pogba, guys. Take all my words back. Lingard isn't consistent. Telling you for a while. He's a great player, though. Lingarinho. See, I think Pogba doesn't... I'm probably going to regret this because I think Pogba's a great player. And my natural reaction was to say he's the best one to have. But looking at the chances he's created, I don't know. It could just be that he keeps creating chances that aren't considered big chances, but he keeps getting goals, though. So... or points, so I could be wrong. Michael Foley, 93 points. Well done, Michael. Jamal Rice just has really high goals, even higher than me. And I'm trying to become a YouTuber for a living. But he's reaching them. He's absolutely blazing a path for the rest of us. Real MC looking to get Morata out for a cheaper second striker. Tucson, I wouldn't go near until I see Everton against the weaker side, because he didn't look that impressive against Spurs. Wilson, I do like Bournemouth's fixtures. Bournemouth's up-and-coming fixtures, and I'm almost tempted to make the move to Bournemouth. You've got West Ham, you do then have Chelsea, but then it's Stoke, Huddersfield, Newcastle. 26, 27, 28. I like that as an option. Keith Edwards, hold or sell Niasse. We move to Crystal Palace, potential on the cards. Right now, I would probably change him for someone around the same price. You can always bring him back, because there's the potential of a transfer. That doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen. And then he may not be that good at Crystal Palace, so... You're taking a lot of risks with that kind of thought process of, I'll keep him, he may go to this club, and then he may play well at this club. Yeah, Jamal, like I said, Salah's got to the point now where he's a safety net. If you don't have Salah and Salah does well, you're automatically coming from a lower place. Like, for instance, when Salah scores for me, I don't actually climb in ranking. I notice every time I get a notification saying Salah scored, and the same happens with Kane, I get a notification going, bling, Salah scored. I go to my live rank and I see I've barely budged. And the same happens with Kane. Now, if I didn't have them, I guarantee you I'd see they scored, go check my Game Week live rank, and it would drop significantly. So they're good safety nets, these players now. And if you don't have them, it can really hurt your ranking. Exactly, though. Yeah, I agree, DMC. I just like an option that could play, if that makes sense. But you're right, Quaynet is an option that you're probably going to just leave on your bench. And then if he does have to come on, you hope he scores. Aman Dillon's team, De Gea, Masaku, Christensen, Otamendi, Salah, Lingard, Son, Arnautovic, Sterling, Kane, Firmino, subs, Elliott, Kenny, Gomez, Niasse. Got 2 free transfers and not put one in any recommendations. I'd probably be quite happy with that team. I'd say Masuaku isn't really necessary. I'd still give Lingard some time. Son, you may want to transfer out after the next game week purely because Son and Spurs' fixtures get difficult. But Son has been playing really well, just to note. And his underlying stats look really good. Otherwise, your team's pretty good. Elliott is someone you could change if you can figure out who to. Kenny, I don't know, are Everton's fixtures easy or tough now? I'd maybe keep Kenny just for a bit longer. Niasse, I'd personally transfer out. Jeff Holt, I would love to win the cup for the flock. The Chrissy95, I apologise, but I'm just not going to rate people's specific teams on screen. But if you want to type your team in, I'm more than happy to go quickly over it. Keith Edwards with 94. Well done, Keith. Real DMC saying Ox was on all corners. That's why he's transferred him in. Best defender at 4.5 from Aiton B. Let's have a look-see. Let's see what we can find. Alright, so we want defenders. The problem is all the good ones usually have risen. You've got Brighton and Huddersfield options there. Are their fixtures looking alright? I mean, after Chelsea, this guy, Bruno, got 4 decent fixtures. Then you may want to transfer him out. Schindler and Huddersfield as a whole, probably wouldn't go near them right now. You've got Dunk as well from Brighton. Kieran Clark, would I go to Newcastle? Not with those fixtures, definitely not. To be honest, my issue with your question, apart from, no, again, 4.8, all the ones I would look at are now over 4.5. Because they've proven why they should be over 4.5. If Moreno came back, but now Robertson started to look good at left back, that's the issue there. So, maybe take a punt on Brighton. But to be honest, there's no amazing option that cheap or lower. Siraj announced Sanchez. FBL Cadet, HNO, I'm going with Wilson as my third striker. What do you think? Sold Grosh for Salah, and Morata is gone. Captain you've got for Gameweek24. Okay, the captain, I mean, nothing wrong with the moves you made, just first off. Captain I'm looking at. Liverpool have Swansea away. that's a decent fixture for Liverpool. You've got Man City against Newcastle at home. If you've got Aguero, that might be a decent one to go for. I don't have Aguero. Would I captain Sterling? Not with Kane on the form that he's in, because Kane have Southampton away. Arsenal, Crystal Palace, but there's rumours around Sanchez, Özil, so I probably wouldn't go there. Man United against Burnley away. I wouldn't captain a Man United player against Burnley. There's every chance they can win and score goals. I would say you're either going with Kane because he's Kane, or you're looking at Man City and Liverpool. So you'd be looking at Salah, you'd be looking at Firmino, you'd be looking at Mane. Against Newcastle for City, you're looking at Sterling, you're looking at Aguero, you're looking at maybe De Bruyne. Those are kind of the options I would be considering. Next video, if I remember my choices, I may put that into a poll. Next stream is hopefully going to be tomorrow night, but we'll see. Jamal Rice, sometimes being hard on yourself helps you improve. Like literally recently, I've looked at my channel and I've seen the growth that some other people have had in the same time period. And I've kind of looked at what they've been doing, looked at what I've been doing. I got complacent, if I'm perfectly honest. I do the streams, I do the videos. I've missed a trick, and I've noticed what other people are doing, and I've not been doing it. And that's because I've been doing the videos, and I'm doing all the research, but I've not been doing that extra bit of work that I was doing, say, during pre-season. So I've gone back to the drawing board. Potentially some very exciting things happening soon with some other creators as well, but also I need to work on my behind the scenes stuff that you don't necessarily all see. A man Dylan, that's a loaded question, that is. Switch Gomez to Tarkowski. Is Tarkowski playing? If he's playing all the time, then that's a potential move. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Alonso for Son and Christensen. What do you think? I would wait until next week to be transferring out Son. Alonso, of course, if he scores, is a great option. He's definitely the most attacking defender in the league. So if they keep a clean sheet and he scores, he's a great player to have. So I can't see anything wrong with that. I'm just not that keen to jump on the Oxlade-Chamberlain bandwagon already. He has been playing well. I just don't know if that's going to translate into FPL points. Real MC thinking of using triple captain on Kane this week because they should hammer them. I wish I still had my triple captain, Real MC. I got Son out for Sterling by Siraj. Unfortunately, I got Son out for Arnautovic. I mean, that worked out okay for me because Arnautovic... No, I got Son out for Lingard, so no, it didn't work out for me. I'm talking out my back end. Yeah, I made a mistake. I should have kept Son for a little longer. If Jamal Rice wins it, that would be epic. Christian95, I've got Gundogan as a City midfielder. Best attacking midfielder for City in this price range. If he keeps playing, Gundogan definitely gets into the box, doesn't he? He was definitely getting chances. Ricardo Pagan, thank you for joining the stream. If you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I have 2 free transfers. I own KDB and I want to transfer KDB and Lingard out for Son and Pogba. Thoughts? I mean, Son's fixtures get tough. Son and Spurs, after their Southampton game, have Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal in the next 3. So, I like KDB's fixtures better. Newcastle, West Brom, Burnley, Leicester. West Brom, Burnley, Leicester, while Tottenham have Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. So I know where I'd put my bets on. When Sanchez is a United player, should he be in my team? Again, I personally always wait before I put someone new at a club into my team just to see how they like meld into that side. I think Tiger Rage taking the mick out of me rating my own team. Imagine I said my team was awful, and then I was like, oh, that's my team. William C. Sanchez United will be an FPL machine. To be honest, I'm surprised he's not been an FPL machine at Arsenal, but like Arsenal haven't been on it this season. Benoit Shah, could you please rank the following? Son, Mahrez, Firmino, Lingard. I would say right now, Firmino, because he's in, to me, what is potentially one of the best attacking teams in the country with Man City. Then I would probably go for fixtures. Oh, that's difficult. I mean, I wouldn't... Mahrez probably has the best fixtures next. Because Man United and Spurs don't have great fixtures coming up. Potentially, depending on my ranking, I'd go for Mahrez. If my ranking's good and it's decent right now, I'd probably go Lingard over Son. Just because Man United do have Spurs and Chelsea, but Tottenham have Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal. So I'd probably go Mahrez, then Lingard, then Son. Although I think if I was just rating them on how they play, Son would probably be higher at the moment. Would I captain Kane or Salah for next week? I'm probably still going to go Kane. But I wouldn't look at anyone weird that ranked Salah. Ranked Salah, I mean captain Salah. Can anyone give a good reason not to captain Kane this week? Well, you're not going to get one from me, Real DMC. Ranked 17 in the world. I can't believe one of my subscribers is ranked 17 in the world. Craig Manuel's got to go. Catch you later, Craig. Jamal Rice, when you're that high up the table, any average game week's going to make you drop, which is really unfortunate. But the fact that you're up there is incredible. Tiger Rage's team: Pope, Elliott, Kenny, Otamendi, Alonso, Sterling, Arnautovic, Son, Lingard, Salah, Firmino, Kane. I like it, to be honest. There's not much I'd change about that right now. By the way, before I continue, just in case it does help the channel out at all, if you could please hit the like button. If you could please share the video out onto Twitter or whatever other social media you may have. And also check out the links in the description and the sponsor button if you do want to support the stream and the channel. Siraj, for now I don't want Mickey to go. Good thing Martial FC is safe. What is Mkhitaryan's age? Because Sanchez is a great player, and I think he'd be great to teach some of your younger players how to play the game. Like, I think as a mentor, Sanchez could be epic for you guys. But I feel like Mickey's getting a bit of a bad end of the deal here. I think he's shown signs that he could become a great player, and you're just letting him go. Whereas I think you could spend the money. But what do you think about Ox? I like Ox. I'm keeping an eye on it, but I'm not going to make the jump yet. He looked good in the game against Man City. He now has the ability to maybe step into the role of Coutinho. He has something to prove as well. He will want to get into the World Cup side. So, and that, I think I saw Jay Eggersdorf say this. You now got to start thinking, who really wants to get to the World Cup? Who really has something to play for? Who's in mid-table and has very little to play for anymore? It's going to start to become more and more important as we get near to the end of the season. Did you tweet that Sanchez could learn from Anthony Martial? Nice. 86 points for a man, Dylan. Who would you captain, Salah, Kane or someone else? I'd probably go Kane this week. Siraj, if you get Sanchez, I think then the Lingard experiment is over. Personally, that's what I think. Sanchez could potentially play behind the striker and Pogba drops deeper, but I wouldn't want to see that. Also, I mean, me personally, if Sanchez comes in and plays up front, but I'm not a Lukaku fan. And you can shoot me for that, whatever, but I'm not a Lukaku fan. How do you see your Game Week live rank? It's an app called Fantasy Football Fix on my iPhone, and it shows, it's rough because they have to estimate the bonus points and it can change so quickly. So it's not 100%, but it does give you a good idea of your live rank at the time you look on the app. However, live rank told me I was 8,000 and something in the world, but it doesn't take into account people coming off the bench. So I then, this was Game Week 38 last season, I then came in just over 10,000, which was annoying. Jamal Rice, will Lukaku start back scoring? He may, but I don't think he's going to score at the rate of Kane, so I'm not really bothered about Lukaku at the moment. Dean Nielsen, anything about next game week? It depends what you're asking about next game week. That's the problem I have with United. They have so many options to score. I might as well go for their cheap player. Keith Edwards recommending Chilwell. Ben Chilwell, under 4.5 million. I think I've rated your team already, Tiger Rage. Javon Benjamin. Nice to see you in the chat, my friend. We've got Adrian, Otamendi, Alonso, Davies, Lingard, Mahrez, Masawaka, Sterling, Pogba, Kane, Aguero. I'm trying to get Salah in. Who do you think I should downgrade? I mean, unfortunately, Salah's now got to the point where he's one of the most expensive midfielders in the game, where you could have had him for 9 million earlier. Davies, I don't know why you still got Davies, if that's Ben. Too much rotation at Spurs in the fullback positions. Midfield looks alright. Kane and Aguero is decent. If Aguero starts scoring and you've got Kane, that could be really good for you. But that is one of the big reasons you're struggling to get a player like Salah in. And I personally think Kane's a better option than Aguero right now. See you later, Siraj. Thank you for joining the stream, my friend. Best of luck in your exam. Captain Salah sounds like a superhero. Catch you later, Jeff. Have a good one. How about Ramsey now he's back from injury? Again, I want to see who, first of all, Arsenal bring in, because they're going to bring in players if they lose Sanchez. And then I want to see how that team gels before I bring Ramsey in. Ali Bakarai, Pope, me, Alonso, Jones, Davis, Dale, Stevens, Salah, Sterling, Son, Lingard, Ayew, Aguero, Kane. Adrian, is there any changes I need to make? Who can I consider into my squad? Davies can go. If you bring in a cheap defender, then you're going to have some more money to spend elsewhere. If that's Andre Ayew, then I'll transfer out. If that's Jordan Ayew, he's there to be the cheap striker. Otherwise, your team looks decent. Keith Edwards, look, I'm definitely saying Oxlade-Chamberlain could be an amazing option in Fantasy Premier League. I'm not going to make the move now just because I want to see it one more time or two more times. But he's definitely going to have a point to prove, and he's going to want to go to that World Cup. Amandillin, the progression in the cup is very good. I'm through to the next round, although my opponent looks like it could be a tough one. Ahmed Hassan, Kane, Son, Lingard, Art, Salah, Sterling, Jones, Alonso, Van Dijk, and De Gea and Otamendi. If you have all of them in your team, you're laughing, mate. They're really good options. Really, really good options. Alright guys, I'm going to call the stream here. I know it's a short one for once, but actually am planning some new stuff for you guys with some other content creators you may know of. So I have a little bit of work to do, a few tests to run and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for joining the stream. It's a shame it started off so slowly because of YouTube not sharing it out properly at the beginning, but you all got here in the end, so thank you guys so much for joining the stream. If you do want to support the channel in any way, there's a sponsor button. You can join Blessing and Rolo as a sponsor of the streams. You can also check out Patreon, where you can support the channel from £1 a month. All the money goes into supporting the channel, making new layouts and all the kind of stuff that goes on behind the YouTube stuff that you don't necessarily see, and potentially could help me get to a point where I can spend a little bit more time on this all. So any support is greatly appreciated, as the guys that do support me know. Julia Lloyd, I'd say Martial right now, but I wouldn't really go with either. And that is the end of the stream for today. So, as always, I've been JNO. This has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.